Tomorrow course completed, right? You so today only we will discuss the important questions, right? So point wise, otherwise you topic wise you can write, right? So what are the important questions? 20 questions you have to write. 20 questions, right? So generally you have to focus on your 20 questions. Be prepared for your final semester, right? So mentally you have to prepare that physically or offline exam will be held, but till now schedule has not come, right? So write down first question. Selective questions for semester. Shraddha,
Again, sir.
first question. देखो
गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
इसके हाँ वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग विश्वजित आसछ तो दिव्या भी अच्छी हमर ठीक अच्छे जयप्रकाश देवदत्त ठीक अच्छे सी write down first selective questions. Sketch sorry sketch 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 basic structure of computer. Sketch basic structure of computer. Basic sketch 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 माने draw. Sketch basic structure of computer and explain each component and explain each component and explain each component or functional units. Explain each component or functional unit. Functional unit, right? First question's meaning is draw a one computer architecture. CPU, there are 4 input output and one is CPU, right? And memory, CPU, LU, control unit, CPU, processor, CPU, input output, control unit and memory unit. All components will be mentioned in your diagram. So then many more components input, write down some points, outputs, processors, memory, control unit, memory unit, like this, right? So this is your first question's meaning is draw a one computer architecture and explain each component or each hardware units of the computer. Second question. Briefly explain performance equation of computer. Briefly explain performance equation of a computer or processor. Full stop. Briefly explain performance measurement equation or performance equations of a maybe computer or maybe processor, right? Generally compute performance that is measured only for the processor. We can tell or we can write the computer because processor exists or computer contents the CPU contents the processor. That's why you can write processor, otherwise computer equations. Performance equations means that is processor equation, or you can say your CPU equation, or you can say system performance equation, anything, right? Write down next. Third one is very important. Define addressing mode. Define addressing mode. Define addressing mode and Jayaprakash.
Yes, sir.
हाँ लिखुचे तो
Yes, sir.
हाँ write down. Defined right, a defined addressing mode and what are the modes? What are the modes? Give an example of each one. Give an example of each one. ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କଥା କହୁଛି ଯାହା ବି କ୍ଲାସ୍ କରୁଛ ଉପରେ ଡେଟ୍ ଟା ଲେଖିବ ମୁଁ କୋଉ ସମୟ ତୁମକୁ ଡେଟ୍ ମାଗିବି ଲାଷ୍ଟ କେବେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ହେଇଥିଲା ଲାଷ୍ଟ କେବେ ତୁମେ କହିପାରିବ ଡେଟ୍ ଟା ମଷ୍ଟ ବି ସବୁ ଜିନିଷର ସିଷ୍ଟମେଟିକ୍ ତାର ଥିଙ୍ଗସ୍ ୟୁ ମଷ୍ଟ ରାଇଟ୍ practical maybe project maybe attendance maybe your say class note तो तुम्हें proper time date सब manage के लिखिले that is characteristics of the good students right he or she can write the all the parameters of study right so what are sorry define addressing mode what are the modes and give an example of each one तो जितने मोड्स अच्छी तुम्हें सब मोड्स को लिखिबो डायरेक्ट मोड डायरेक्ट एड्रेसिंग मोड इनडायरेक्ट एड्रेसिंग मोड एमती सब बहुत मोड्स अच्छी 10टा 12टा मोड्स अच्छी तुम्हें भी सब मोड्स लिखिबो एडा मु देखिबी तुमको लास्ट असाइनमेंट देबी एडा फर्स्ट लेखो what defined or what does mean by addressing modes and what are the modes and give an example of each one प्रत्येक वन रो एग्जांपल देबो गुटे डायरेक्ट एड्रेसिंग मोड तार एग्जांपल देलो आउ जदी भलो तार व्यापारे गुटे वन और टू लाइंस यू कैन राइट विजय भाई देले दीपक सर तो देखो दियो
अरे जो खाता हमरा आसन आसना खाता को क्लिक करवाइन करी
को
सर वो खाता पिला दे दिले रेस्टो
पैसा तो डाकिनी
हम आधा कहीं जे
हां हां एडा दीपक सर तो हां ठीक है मैं जाऊ छी क्लास टा पूरे जमा कर देबे हला कौन कहती सॉरी एड्रेसिंग मोड राइट शर्मिष्ठा
आज्ञा सर
लिखिल तो
आज्ञा
राइट डाउन नेक्स्ट define instruction define instruction define instruction define instruction or instructions defined instructions and write down format of the instruction and write down format of the instruction and write down format of the instruction last next what does mean by opcode and operands opcodes माने OPCODES opcode single word and operands also single word OPERANDS के अभिलिप्सा
आज्ञा सर
तुम्हें प्रैक्टिकल स्पेलिंग कोन लिखितले जानि छ रजिस्टरी सी छाड़ी देछ PRET प्रैक्टिकल लिखी छ तो राइट डाउन Opcodes and operands. What does mean by opcodes and operands? Hello. Next question, write down. What are the phases of complete instruction execution? What are the phases of complete instruction executions? Write short notes of each one. 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 तार तीनटा फेज अच्छे तुम्हें लिखिबो डिकोड सॉरी तुमर फेज डिकोड फेज व्यापार लिखिबो डिकोड व्यापार लिखिबो एग्जीक्यूशन व्यापार लिखिबो राइट देयर आर जनरली 3 phases. One is phase, second one is decode, and third one is execution. Write down some points about the phase, and after that move to the decode and write down 2, 3, 4 lines about the decode. Give an examples or executions also, right? Similarly, write down very important questions. What are the differences between hardware control and microprogrammed control? What are the differences between hardware control and microprogram control? Hardware control and microprogram control. Microprogram control. Microprogram control. Hardware control and microprogram control. श्रद्धा ये जे लिखिलो पॉइंट ता किछि कहि परिबो हैं श्रद्धा अच्छा ना नहीं
सर एटा एग्जाम रे आस्ति
हाँ एग्जाम रे आस्तिला बोले तो कहूछ माइक्रो प्रोग्राम और हार्डवेयर कंट्रोल व्यापार तुम बेसिक आइडिया मन तुमको गोटे प्रेजेंटेशन देबा को पहले किछि पढिबनी तुमर लॉजिक को तुम